Hello, hello, Matt Franceschini here, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite ways to practice arpeggios and scales. And we do this in a way that keeps all of the information consolidated so that we understand it a little bit deeper, and it also helps us be really efficient in our practice time. So with 20 minutes a day, you can get through a couple keys of this, and you can really go in depth on some of your stuff that you're working on. So for today's example, I'm going to use a G major triad, a G major 7 chord, a G major pentatonic scale, and a G major scale. And the reason that I'm putting all of these together is because they're all intimately related, and I can use them when I'm soloing or playing or writing melodies. All of those skills are kind of in one toolkit. So, the way that I'd like to go about practicing this, as I said before, I call it the Russian doll method, is I practice the one that has the least amount of notes first, and that's going to be the G major triad. Then I add a 7, so now it's a G major 7 arpeggio. Then I go to a scale rather than an arpeggio. I'm going to do the G major pentatonic scale. And then finally, I end up running through the G major scale. And I do this in all 5 positions up and down the neck. And practicing this way really helps you see the relations between these. So if you ever have to go and you're like, oh man, I'm soloing over a G chord, all 4 of these bits of musical information are things that you can apply and throw at that situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a metronome, because it's always good to be practicing with a metronome. And I'm going to set it, right now I'm at 160, but if you have to go slower, that's so totally fine. Don't be rushing and playing sloppy. You want to get this stuff really comfortable. So I'm going to set the metronome at 160. And I'm going to play in 8th notes against it, a G major triad twice. Actually, just for the sake of brevity, I'm going to do it once, but when you practice it, do it anywhere from 2 to 5 times on each of these steps. So I play a G major triad arpeggio all the way up, all the way down. It'll look like this. Then I'm going to play a G major 7 arpeggio. So position 1 and position 1, they're connected. Now I'm going to play position 1 of the G major pentatonic scale. There we go. And then I'm going to play the G major scale, position 1. So all of the position 1s of all of those related scales and arpeggios line up with each other. Now the same phenomenon happens in arpeggio position, or just position 2. And if this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, you will notice that all of these diagrams have a hollow note, and that is your starting and ending note. So for example, if I'm playing this position 2 arpeggio, which looks like this, I'm going to play that arpeggio from G on the D string, all the way up, all the way down, and then back to that. So it's your starting and your ending note. And the reason is that's the root, and this ensures that you will always hear the arpeggio in the proper context, because if I play that same arpeggio, starting from here, it has a different feel to it, and that'll help your ear be able to recognize it. And then the second reason we like to do that is because it gives us kind of like an anchor that we can center ourselves around when we're playing. So, without further ado, here's the rest of the positions. Position 2 of all of these, so I'm starting again in the major triad. Major 7. Major pentatonic. And then finally the major scale. You can do the same thing in position 3. So, major triad, major 7, now the major pentatonic, finally the major scale. Same thing in position 4, position 4, position 4, position 4. we do the same in position 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Major 7. Major pentatonic. And then finally full major. And then once you get comfortable with that in the key of G, I strongly recommend you work on it in other keys. And it's really, really simple to do so because these 5 positions will all stay in the same order, although you won't start in the same place. So for example, if I went to the key of C, and sorry, let me turn off that metronome. If I started in the key of C, I need to find the lowest C that I can play on the neck, because if I started here in position 1, very quickly I end up almost unusably high up the neck. I don't know about you guys, but I don't spend too much time around the 20th fret playing full scales and full positions. Anyways, so I'm going to find the lowest one I can play on the neck. I know that it's going to be this C on the 3rd fret, but if you need to spend some time figuring out where the lowest one is, that's totally okay too. So I know it's going to be here, and I'm either going to be playing position 3 or position 4. And I know it's going to be position 4 because if I played position 3, I have to play an open string. And when we're practicing scales and arpeggios, we don't want to be practicing the positions with open strings because that is going to cause us to use a different fingering. It's going to feel kind of weird. And the sound of the notes will be different. An open string will always sound different than a fretted note. So I know that I'd be starting in position 4. And I go, same process. The next one would be position 5. And again, I'm just playing the major triads in these shapes so that it's not an 8-hour video. But obviously do, like we said, the Russian nesting dolls. Then we get this guy. Position 1, position 2, position 3, sorry. That was a slop fest. I tried to add a major 7 and then picked the wrong string. But as you go through these, you'll get really, really comfortable. And again, the thing that's great about this is that it really consolidates the information. So your major chords, if you're ever playing over, whether it's G major 7, whatever it may be, you have 4 different things that you can throw at it, and you now know how they all sit perfectly on the guitar. So I've always found this to be a really efficient method to practice. I used to use, there's a metronome app that I use. Let me find what the name is. I like to use this app that is called Metro Timer, and it actually has a timer at the bottom. So when I was in university practicing this all the time, I used to always start my day by doing this in 4 keys for 2 minutes in every position. So I would go position 1. And I would do that for 2 minutes in position 1, then I would go to position 2, 2 more minutes there. However you want to break it down, this is a really good way to consolidate a lot of information into your practice routine so that you actually get to it. I know that that's one of the biggest struggles. Well, I mean, I struggle with it too, even as a professional musician, finding enough time to practice. But I know my students who work jobs or go to school have a tough time fitting it in as well. So I hope you guys found that useful and helpful. If you liked the video, I'd really appreciate it if you could like and subscribe. I've got new videos coming out every single Monday. And if you wanted to have a guitar lesson with me, have some one-on-one time, there is a link down below that'll take you to the page of my website to set that up. And other than that, I hope you guys are all having a good day. I hope you get to play some guitar, and I hope you have some fun practicing. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.